we yedi fi ebremu baby ambo bia no monka e ho ne fasida ema this way chocolate drink and afi the coffee drink na bi nso nkoma special ice nsuo ene special drink ni fufu ni liter be kwan so no asida pie be kwa ma mo sanso na best point service alone so yeda o masi so mu kure mu medical sebo no ebremu na nsem edi ebremu yi de edi mu akotimi bi ene se mampani mahama e de atodwa ekire mu se omani mpuntu no sei no ye chede pepepe ama mantam bia enya no so ne de
Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia akopie mu e Wodoma West ne ho e na wode atodwa se Ghana fo mo nhye sika so ne to aba ma obi na emom nipa ne ni so ade hunu e na omudi kan chance
ene omayi emra nimfo pani attorney general ayen santrofo hyiemu na nasama wo kan se enka ne buffer stock pani a woda no sika 40 million Ghana cedis ana kodi ni sanse
sanso edna aban lawyer panyi editu dwa se na dwuma na wo ye no obi bia ni ho empo ye man panyi his excellency John Dramani Mahama entimi nkrampo enkyere no sede wonye na dwuma no emfa
na LGBTQ++ won sema ba bebre abanda da no ankwisi aga no ene do kuma ye santrofo hyiemu e de afa ho
Omayin sikakrabia batan e de ato sikakrabia nkaye ni nyina enim se eba na dwuma na omoye na omunya ne kwan ye betimi ama adehye enye omumugidie na afen so kwan ye omunya om customers ebedinsa woso no omuhwese ni nyina no ebekoyi
ensemi ka ho ne de bremo me ka mo se ye kase boyi ye social media handles awdo ni nyina no ewo ho ana ko DSTV so a ye o channel 360 akenkan for ye me eja kwabena nene
abena bayi nyano
Afrika sebo ne munsam ni ene Ghana man penny his excellency John Dramani Mahama ene Ghana for edi nkomo no kon fa so eye sa no ene se eye Ghana infrastructure plan I che se wada na di no adan suku adan ka kwan ne mahodo nyina no yada ne hihye obeye no edi no che se na ban yi edi esi ne bo wasi nkete se manta makomako dunsia no o manyi puntu dwuma no ye pecha ne pepepe amobiansa akane de.
The Ghana Infrastructure Plan makes a strategic reset. This new approach aligns our infrastructure development with our government's big push agenda, the African Union's Agenda 2063 and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The Ghana Infrastructure Plan introduces spatial planning models that promote balanced regional development and equitable access to opportunities. And this is what Professor Nimo was talking about, that you cannot, Doctor, I promoted you to Professor, sorry, GTech will come after you if I don't correct it. You cannot progress as a nation when you have geographical imbalance in economic development. And so setting up SADA as a special vehicle to accelerate development of the North was strategic. Unfortunately, a new government comes, shuts down SADA, and creates 3 broad development authorities, coastal, middle belt, northern, which really have done nothing, absolutely no impact. And so we must stop that geographical imbalance because every child finishing senior high school in the North, after a certain point in time, no economic opportunities, no employment opportunities, everybody is headed towards Accra. And that's what he said. It just shows graphically what the imbalance is. Every industry is in Accra. All foreign direct investment is coming into Accra. Incentives that have been given to rebalance development have not been very effective. And we must find a way of making them more effective. And that's why we are suggesting an agro-industrial park in the northern part of the country, where we redirect some of the foreign investors who want to invest and give them the necessary incentives instead of settling in Accra to move up to the north to create jobs so that the young people can have opportunities there and not drift down to the south. To build better, we must govern better. Infrastructure governance, the systems, laws, and institutions that determine how projects are conceived, financed, and executed must be strengthened. Good governance guarantees that projects are selected on merit, carried out transparently, and are maintained across political transitions. When infrastructure governance is weak, countries lose billions. When it is robust, every project acts as a driver for growth. We must therefore depoliticize infrastructure so that roads, bridges, and hospitals will serve as symbols of national progress and not partisan rivalry. Allow me to highlight these three strategic initiatives that exemplify this new approach. One, the Green Digital City, which I announced last year, and I re-emphasized again during my trip to China, is a 20-year transformation hub spanning the Greater Accra, Volta, and Eastern regions. It will combine sustainable urban design, renewable energy, and digital innovation to attract global investors and talents. The expansion of the water systems in Ho, Tamale, Sogakope, and Hohoi to ensure clean and fair access to water. The strategic road and transport corridors to enhance national connectivity, boost trade, and ease urban congestion. These projects are not isolated interventions, they are interconnected investments within a unified national framework. And each of them helps to achieve spatial equity, support industrial growth, and encourage climate-smart development.
Kane mampanyi abedi echira wo jinama yato ne so aba se de be betu franka ediama NPP amanyuku Dr. Alhaj Mahmood Bawumia oguso abontoa ewo eye bono mantemu no akwakopie mu ewo eye Doma West abaton peswa so abra woni adehye wo honom edi nkomo na wotwem se Ghana adehye ade omohwe edeto aba ema wo bi mane bedi won so enye nipa no ahunya anase sika dodo anipa no ewo nemum no nipa nani suade hunu ne niema pa oba obetimi ayama oman no
ubeye omampanyi ewo Ghana ha emfa sika wo obotom enye obotom sika na wode be hwe Ghana fo eye obotom sika enti huntimi nkasa ne wo sika enti behwe me property ena beto abama me enye no sa adwea ewo team onindia o team o ideas eno ena ede emponto enfaso na ahoto ebe Ghana for enti enye sikasem. It is about ideas. Eno ena mede bremu ene na mede sisem about ishishie bebria mede beba enimde de be mede beba ebeboye nyina ade atimi akọ Kugulu.
Ene Attorney General Yewura Dr. Dominic Ayine ayense jofo enhyiemu na wasem bie nsemi so e de fakata hye ne proye koso e wa mbadada no emu na pani ba ko obo ni din ne kan ho asem eye pani anan kankane oda National Food and Buffer Stock Company ano owura Abdul Wahab Hanan wochiremu a sika nka eso pani omande ama no se won fanto nuane na nka school fon kwada nya bi nni na nka fa bi nsenye na mahodro no ono e de ye de ope na sika 40.5 million Ghana cedis ana do fa company bi so a se sika no kugu sa account no ma de so this can ye de ma oman no one fine.
We have frozen all the assets of Anan that I have listed, including a 10 million Ghana cedis fixed deposit account at Republic Bank, Labone branch. That is the liquid assets. They also, had a lot of bags. I didn't want to list them. The wife has over 61 luxury bags. All right, name them. He himself was buying watches, some costing as much as 1.5 million Ghana cedis and so on. We have taken note of all of them, and so we've done the freezing, including those of the vehicles. So on account of the foregoing, we have decided to charge Mr. Hanan Abdul Wahab and his wife, Faiza Seydou Wuni, with stealing, conspiracy to steal, causing financial loss to the state, using public office for profit, obtaining public property by false statements, and money laundering. The charges will be filed on Friday, and I have the charge sheet, the draft charge sheet, which I am reviewing here for everybody to see, so that nobody goes to say that I have indicted somebody and I don't have charges. I have my charges ready. From now onwards, when we are announcing the conclusion of investigations, we are either contemporaneously filing charges or we are filing them immediately thereafter.
Na Dr. Dominic Ayini esan etwaso wei eye japadia kane kwantrefo panyi ema eye National Food and Buffer Stock Company Ora Hanan Abdul Wahab ene ne yere omo ede ye japadia sike form nsase abra na wode adwuma na no de ye nyina no obobo ni nyina so kire.
Evidence shows that between December 2017 and May 2019, Hanan Abdul Wahab transferred 5,495,780 Ghana cedis and 36 pesos from Buffer Stock Company accounts to two bank accounts belonging to Aludiba Enterprise, one of his companies at Republic Bank and ABSA. Aludiba Enterprise is not a registered supplier of Buffer Stock Company. Hanan Abdul Wahab between 2019 to January 2022 also orchestrated some suppliers to transfer an amount of 11,998,830 Ghana cedis, 48 pesos, to an entity owned by a staff of Buffer Stock, and later instructed the staff to retransfer the funds to a company owned and run by himself and his wife. In July 2022, investigations found that Hanan Abdul Wahab transferred 251,050 cedis from Buffer Stock accounts to another bank account at Republic Bank belonging to Energy Partners, a company co-owned by Hanan Abdul Wahab and Emmanuel Atta, the head of corporate affairs of Buffer Stock Company. Energy Partners is not a service provider for Buffer Stock. The evidence gathered so far shows that they run this criminal enterprise under the pretext of supplying food items to schools under the school feeding program. Ladies and gentlemen, 7 entities linked to Abdul Wahab and his wife were used as vehicles to receive and to launder the proceeds of crime from Buffer Stock Company. The money laundering took the form of property acquisitions across the country, including real estate and luxury goods using the same entities. The entities in question are as follows: Alkani Enterprise, Aludiba Enterprise, Energy Partners, Farhauser Ventures, Farhauser Company Limited, and Aludiba Foundation, and also, and more importantly, Sortina Enterprise, owned by a third party connected to the couple. So Sortina was owned by Atieku Apau, who was then the Northern Sector Manager of Buffer Stock. Bank documents obtained by EOCO revealed that within the period that the suspects operated this criminal enterprise, Mr. Abdul Wahab and his wife and their entities became the largest depositors at Republic Bank, and the branch was at Labone branch. Investigations established that in 2018, Sortina Enterprise, an entity owned by James Atieku Apau, applied to become a licensed supplier to the Buffer Stock Company. This application was approved by his boss, Hanan Abdul Wahab, knowing very well that the approval placed James Atieku Apau in a conflict of interest situation. Because he was the manager of Buffer Stock in the Northern Sector, he formed a company and became a supplier to Buffer Stock. So on account of that alone, I can succeed on a charge of using public office for profit.
Asamba kwa sorry won kane abana breso ene LGBTQ+ bema betun aware nyonko bema me hwa na me hu aponchi bia ona ba bia musa aponchi de no ho fiu na ma che ne me bi ne ko fie papa ma me bisame a me se oba manya na pese me ware ni nie na o fia na oba ba na akoko bi na hye ne moto mi wadwa ne so to aba ma mo kumare o se ma me papa yi oba pese me ware ni nie sa tantan de na dapa de na ho sem soro organa ha ama ko pir ma hye bi dwom ne ho sem bebre ye kan nya de a oman no ai san kan aba ntum ni sa hye ase ama ne ye adwuma e ho asama san soro bio o mra hye bi dwom ne de ya dom kuma na kasa de afa ho a onunyamfo ntim fodwo e no kasa he
Monsan trefo nyina mudi hu da se sa bill human sexual rights and family values bill no ye de say other paper no say ye ba be take na start apase and na yɛntumi anuro ɛne yɛsɔre sɛ yɛde sɛ ɛnɛ yɛbɛba ne aba abɛtoa so ɛne yɛbaeɛ a ndc foɔ no akɔ akɔyi ato atwene yɛbisa wɔn majority leader sɛ wɔn nim ho hwee na speaker so nim ho hwee clerk so nim ho hwee first deputy speaker so nim ho hwee yɛbisa sɛ mpanimfoɔ yi a wɔn so nim ho hwee ɛyɛ hwan signature ɛna approve bill no akɔdu mpɛmpɛn so a gazette yɛ ɛbɛtɔ order paper ne so yɛmma kwan ma ndc foɔ ɛmfa Ghana foɔ adwene sabi ɛnni agorɔ yɛmma kwan ɛma ndc foɔ ɛmfa Ghana foɔ adwene nni agorɔ kɔpa sɛ just 11-12 months ago politics and propaganda ndc foɔ de saa bill yi ɛyɛɛyɛ sɛ MPP aban ɛna so gain nsam so ɛnso yɛyɛ pɛn so yɛpaase adan wɔn mpɛn so wɔn adwane yɛfiri ho yɛ demand sɛ baabi a bill no wɔn awia de akɔsɛ bia no wɔn san fa mɛto order paper ne so na ɛnɛ ne na yɛ mprempren ya yɛn paase fama Ghana foɔ sanse na nanom ahemfo asɔfoɔ imamfoɔ mpanin ɛne mmɔfra dodoɔ na ɔha mu nkyekyɛmu aduɔkorɔ mmiɛnsa ɛna hwehwɛmu ada adi sɛ Ghana ha sɛ wɔde LGBT nsɛm edi agorɔ a ɛyɛ aniberesɛm ɛde ma wɔn ɛyɛ tiwadeɛ kɛseɛ ɛde ma wɔn ɛyɛ ambodin kɛseɛ ɛde ma wɔn ɛnu nti na abira President Mahama baa so a ne mpɛn so mmeranteɛ mmienu free South Africa ɛnya baabi anyina sɛ Independence Square bɛfefe wɔn ano wɔ hɔ sɛ wɔn yɛ gay foɔ wɔn aware nti Ghana foɔ nso ɛnware bi saa a aban panin bi antumi anka hwee obi antumi ankyɛ no national security obi anka hwee ankyerɛ no na wɔn sa ɛkɔ United Nations Human Rights Council kɔ kan sɛ ɛba no LGBT nsɛm afei de wɔn dwane wɔn da ntamu no yɛ mo wɔn kwan ma parliament a wɔn medwane mfiri ho baabi a bill no sɛ bia no ɛnɛ ya wɔn ɛmfa mmra yɛ mo wɔn kwan ɛmo mu nwane mfiri ho they must bring the bill ne yɛn paase na Ghana foɔ akoma ɛnto wɔn yɛm wei ɛnyɛ politics ne ɛyɛ Ghana foɔ sɛ bill no wɔn ɛhwɛ anim yɛn paase ma wɔn NDC foɔ mo mfa mmra ne yɛnyina no yɛn ma kwan ɛmo bia medada obia.
Na sa LGBTQ+ ho nsɛm a ɛdɔm kuma ekyir mu sɛ wɔ se yɛsan ɛde kɔ mmarahyɛ bedwafi na ɔmo ho yɛ ho adwuma no ɛna ama ɛdɔm kɛseɛ ba no dani onumunyamfo Mahama Yariga akasa ekyir mu sɛ ho hia sɛ yɛsan ɛde ba parliament ɛma ɔmo edi ho dwuma esan sɛ aban dada na pɛn so no ɛkɔ mmarahyɛ bedwafie enti no mmarahyɛ bedwafoɔ de ɔmo awie ɔmo adwuma ɛwɔ saa LGBTQ+ mmara no nti akasa mampanyi de ne nsa ɛbɛhyɛ aseɛ ɛna wɔtwe mu sɛ aban dada na pɛn so no ntimi ama so saa ama mampanyi a na ɔwɔ hɔ nom amfa ne nsa anhyɛ aseɛ nti wɔdie ɛho hia sɛ ɛsan ba mmarahyɛ bedwafie ebiem.
The Constitution says that if a bill is not passed, and then the life of the parliament expires, then it lapses. But this one was passed. Are you getting the situation? Is that okay? We have passed it. It's left with the assent. And if you remember, there was a big constitutional issue about what happened if the timelines for assent have passed and then the president's timeline for sending it back to parliament, he also doesn't comply with those timelines. And then there was an issue about the fact that there was a pending litigation and then some injunctive reliefs had been sought in relation to the matter. And it was all so confused in terms of the litigation and etc. So yes, I take it that we passed it. And if you don't resolve the question of what is the legal effect of our having passed it, it will be difficult to take it again on the floor of the House.
Adishimama UTV nunsi akasebo ena muhwe madama montwane akwaje yabo afon krato ye ba ye beto amoso.
play a large part in the erosion.
Abusuafo edam asese mo twen ye mama kwa babiem ye betoa ensem no eso.
Oman so afọhwa ma no ne hu sam so ayunonyamfo Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. Ode ato amama nkabo muko yamkyere United Nations ni mu se. Amaya hodo afei na womsen efefe aga na ye ka ho bi no. Edu ba bi a ye ne amaya wo wiase a agya bi kakra omsam no ye kasikasa mututu ya na ya ye se efefe no ye kwa ho kyere mu pa anti se be ye na ye so ye betumi anyini no. UN nhwe na mmara ne hyehyɛ hodo ɛda hɔ efes kasa mu no omunye no bia so enya so mfaso.
Sustainable development and finance sits at the very core of our global agenda. We cannot advance the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development or achieve the goals of the Paris Agreement without confronting the structural inequities embedded in the global financial system. Too many developing nations remain trapped in cycles of unsustainable debt, while the promise of fair access to capital and trade remains elusive. As President John Dramani Mahama rightly reminded the international community at the 80th session of the UN General Assembly, we demand not only a reform of the Security Council, but also a reset of the global financial architecture, which is currently rigged against Africa. This call echoes the collective demand of the Global South for a more balanced system of global governance, one that gives all nations an equitable voice and fair opportunity in shaping our shared economic future. The reform of international financial institutions, including the voting structures of the IMF and the World Bank, remains essential to ensuring that developing economies have a meaningful role in global decision-making. The United Nations must continue to play a central role in championing financial justice by advocating for debt relief, sustainable investment, and innovative financing mechanisms that empower countries to invest in their own development, predictable, concessional, and climate sensitive.
In Ghana, we're marking this anniversary under the theme, Ghana and the UN, shared responsibility for a better tomorrow. And that reflects our conviction together that development has to serve people everywhere, that peace must be sustained everywhere, and that dignity must be protected everywhere. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, in his address to the 80th session of the UN General Assembly, called on the international community to recognize Africa's growing population and Africa's growing economic potential, and to reflect that reality in global decision-making also lies in Africa. His message aligns with today's theme and reminds us that our future depends on fairness, inclusiveness, and cooperation.
Ene dwumadie bi koso ewo enkran hanum say consumer reporting officers stakeholder engagement neho ena second deputy governor Emma Bank of Ghana Matilda Asante Esiedu ede to sika krabia hodo we yemmu nyina enim se omadaroma adwuma no mo ye na sika adwuma nte ho behia se ombe ye adwuma no kwan ye be ma adehye nyi omumugidie into se kwan ye omne omadehye na se customers edinkita ho no ayomunye ni yepa na emoa.
The Bank of Ghana escalated from 695, thankfully it wasn't too much, in 2023 to 743 in 2024. That's almost 7% increase. We believe that these instances could have been handled at the institutional level, giving a little more interest and care and attention to detail. You might not have the answer, but I'm sure within that institution, somebody else in another department will have the answer. So how do we collaborate internally to make sure that we're providing the service that is required? We know that digital transformation has greatly improved access and convenience, but also it has introduced risks in how we transact. And I think the fraud report, which I hope that you have read, shows us that 16,733 cases were recorded in 2024. That's 5% more than, again, what we had in 2023. And in terms of value at loss, we're talking about 99 million, almost 100 million CDs. So it's very important that we pay attention also. Perhaps the most challenging part is that 33% of that fraud was committed by staff. We have to be more intentional about vigilance, about ethics, about discipline, and have stronger internal controls. We believe that technology must not be a tool for vulnerability, but trust, secure systems, sound oversight, responsive and responsible innovation. And we believe through that, we can serve better. And at the Bank of Ghana, I'm sure you would have experienced our regulatory sandbox. If you haven't, please try it. Because again, that is intended to help you test the solutions that you're bringing to market and to troubleshoot and address whatever challenges that might bring. I believe security is a third pillar that we're focusing on today, and is the foundation on which everything else rests. No level of innovation or service quality will offset the quality of security that comes with it. And so banks, we encourage you to embed cybersecurity as part of your DNA, not just in the infrastructure, but in every transaction and also in the updates. So the Bank of Ghana Cybersecurity Information Security Directive provides for you a framework, but really, beyond that, we believe that true protection really comes from the daily discipline and the coordination that happens internally.
Yakwadwe di ensemu na adwumako baako a omsi adan etoma nkrofo omsi adan efe na obetumi akwakohan bi ebia style ope design ope no besi ama wo Ye form Cape May Properties. Adwumakuo yi ene Kolebu Teaching Hospital enkrabata ehwe ema no fo mu kokoramu nsam so akwapam. Se ombeboa se de be ya ema anya no fo mu kokoramu no koba so nkopie Kolebu a emu bi obia no womusa atumi aka. Omo de osia yoyo amene da me no kasai. Sika anosom 225,000 Ghana cedis. And now de akokoma Kolebu Teaching Hospital Department of Surgery. So womunye na ema ewo ayarasabia ho a womo eko dufom kokuramu ensem mo no anase eho omo hu hawo no wonhwe na mo bi ohubia no wonfom of fine edikan om de amano no.
That is for ensem otudwa no and womo ekirem se we no eka one corporate social responsibility initiative no eho na womo edan annual breast cancer awareness drive no adi e October busumenu ho and womo edan sa botaye a eda womo akomasui edi and watchire mu se ade ba ko eda womo akomapon so pa ne se womo ebeje enipa enkwa esan se enipa enama hunyehie mu na se ne nkwa edesane mu aya na eha adwen ye pa enti na October busumi bia womo hwe se breast cancer awareness no wono so bekoso abo ho dawuro na womo akire Ghana ma se ebra no bra no mo nkwa ya sabia no hwe se omo akoro ro rediem bibi sa wo ho no na so hu ne ntem so atimi so ano ntem a enkonkodi awu Emma Untina Nanum Ewo and Sierra General Manager Emma Cape May Properties April Krigler Eddie and Sam Etuja FM.
We believe that part of our corporate social responsibility is to make sure that we help our community, the community that helped us. And so it's also a big, I wouldn't say it's a big problem in Ghana, breast cancer. So it's one of the reasons we chose it. For me personally, it also touched me. I've had friends who've died from the disease. I've had friends who suffer from the disease, and it's really important that we do our bit as corporate Ghana to make sure that we put our foot forward and do the best we can.
Yekutayensam ene 225,000 Ghana cedis in Yadiaba. Cape May Properties ye company a Ghana ni ankasa efi Ghana hana watete sa company no na Ghana man no aboa company no pa nti okwan ba kwa yenso betumi afa so de aboa Ghana ene se ye beboa ma wo kokokram yare breast cancer nti se ye boa ma na yesusu se oba bia wo be ma wona busuam enye ne kunu a ebe ya ne ba ana se be ya ne wofa bi be ma bi wo ho nti yesusu se ye boa ma na okwan bi so no ne ye boa Ghana man ni nyina ye hwe kwan se afibia no depending on profit ebenya wo edan dodo ebetimi aton mu no ebe donate be $20,000 to $50,000 na nya no nko ampo etoda mpo na se bia doctor fo ni behu yen se bia wo menya emergency bi obi hia mo akese pa yebetimi ahwe sa atebia no so ye de bibi kakra sa aboa wo nti yesre Ghana fo nyina se mummonji Cape May Properties so moto ye nan ni bia sika yebenya no eno ebi na afibia e de ba boa unit no one hope one home.
Surgeon or breast units at Department of Surgery or Kolebu Teaching Hospital Dr. Josephine Nsafo. What they and some to Asia.
Here at Kolebu, we see about 500-600 new breast cancer cases every year in this department. A lot are advanced breast cancer cases, and people delay for a number of reasons. But one of the main reasons why they delay is because of financial handicap. So on a day like this, when we receive donations from Cape May and other philanthropists, it goes a really long way to help support the treatment. Breast cancer care is on the National Health Insurance, but there are some aspects of it which is not covered by insurance. So for our patients who are needy, this money is going to pay for their treatment, and it really makes a difference in their lives. So we are most grateful to Cape May for their donation, and I think they have shown the way for other companies and other people who are willing to partner with the breast surgery unit here at Kolebu. So we're inviting everyone to come and then bring their corporate social responsibility to support breast cancer.
Abana wa check odi no. Wo check ayi breast no senia e bia kokore bia mam.
Ma check.
Bia di. Wo ta check.
Me make sure say afi bia di.
But one kasa self examination no e hu hia pa anti na wa check why.
Mati enja ebusiafo ya homeso ne aba beto asesia.
Give them my word as a leader of the minority in parliament. I'm ready to support them if they themselves are more than ready to confront the issue head on. So far, because they seem to be benefiting from this gold board is buying gold, you know, these same galamseyers are selling to the gold board. Is there any mechanism to determine which gold is coming from the right source? And because the money is coming for them to stabilize the economy, stabilize the city, they are pretending, you know,
abusuafo ye Simon Makwa babiem ye betoa ensem no eso na amanebo aba beto yap no so e de say National Concern Small Scale Miners Association samra ye kase okopimu wasantemantem wa wo ye galamsey e wonsu e wo honom no no omo akwa jeje omo shanfine ase ni nyina shanfine bebro ohane aduo no e na omo nsaka omo asey no
Empanyinfo moda National Concern Small Scale Miners Association ewo Kumasi wa Asante Mantem ha akwakopie mu ewo mansini beye miensa eno wo Asante Mantem ha omako ahafoano Southwest omako ahafoano North ena afi atwema mponua mansini mu ne nyina no se bebia amanfo enam kotikwan so mutu agudi a omo se insu ahodo no omo task force no akotu omo so sa shamfine ene niema ekeka omo timi agigibi omo ahyehyebi eno ena omo kire se ohwe ene bone a eye sa anipa edi no wo sa mpatamo no ma ha adwene pa ese obo ade bobre yensu ahodo okopie mu mpo ewa hafoano Southwest a ensuo kase da ho eye River Mankra ensuo nani asesa a chese eye galamsefo no mase no na mra omo di dwumadie we ewie no omo panyimfo eye nsamtwerefo nhyiamudie ewo Kumase a wo mo echeche kwan omo fa so a omo etimi ekodi sa adwumadie no otetreni a woda ekwe ano eye Mike Kojo Pepra one nsamtwerefo kasa no sei eno de tuja
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama eni so ade hunu a sebi ode aba se sebi yensuo ni ensase ese no ebetumi abo ho ban eni honorable Amakofi Boa Lands and Natural Resource ni so ade hunu ni se sebi aban enchiri mining but emum yensuo a ese ni omo muti nsuo no so ebetumi eyi omofiro eno na ko hia se as an association yes no edi bibia be friend self policing policy say yanka se be policy ye ho any baby bia se be omo a omo eyesa galamsey yiwo ebetumi tu omo so sa o aka ye ho abom a ya ti tax force a kedidi djuma a me no ka say tax force ni starting djuma die ewo ahafo ano Southwest ahafo ano North atwuma Mponua district ye ko baby ti se camp ye ko Mankran so yeko baby ti se amada kutukum amino kasi yetumi koshe chamfa machines over 120 nyina ne se association no etumi ato speedboat a ye de ama ye members no a omo edisa dwumadi no se be make sure so omo a ede bia no mo se yensuo ne ensase a ye no ma ekuta ye nkrata no se be se nkrofo kan no mo de abeka ho no na yetumi ameki sure say yensuo no enibete operations no ongoing na yebeda 9 months ne blue water guard in force wase almost enyina na ba omutumi boa sebi yesi government minu minu nti ade bia enye bia no enyina no ye wasudie se ebetumi abo aban na aban so ni so ade hunu no obetumi abo
ewe kasebo no esi ye de aseda ma aboafo na mo no so betwetwe osin a meka wo se enwure ma wure fi sa wo de pep student betwetwe osin enkwada mpani akwada afa na share se fifi kura so twetwe ne sina na wo de pep student ye se de be ya ne sini enyini nyina na efefefe osechi na be ya din wonu be hwam na wo sin so ye 50 pep student de no na ekọ this way chocolate drink na coffee drink and I feel best point and special ice and so boy na de kasebo no abra dia dance ni sorry
enumere Clothing Palace and a share matadie na Clothing Palace ewo Accra Central ne lavafo eni din enhwani mu ukọ abronsan ne soro hono mu a obehu Clothing Palace ewo toma ho niema bebre nte ho de ye friend say e man tade papa fie ene ho number no eye 0271998 313 0271998 and a she salon subomiti e mame won so e wo weija won West Small any D and Shenimu ayafo ahu siesie no ahofa nyina ekodan hila no be show kama number no 0558 611842 0558 611842 and you can come for ever mo ye me apna be yi nya no mene
eja kwa brenda mu nyina se ma mu ni hwe
NLA 590 Mobile. Today, we will discuss how you can win cash by playing 590 on your phone or online. Visit 590mobile.com.gh or dial *959# on any handset or network and choose option 1 on the menu for Direct 1. Select one number from 1 to 90 as your Direct 1 number. You win 40 times your stake amount, only if your selected number is the same number that appears first in the draw. Thank you for your attention. And remember, you can stake your favorite NLA 590 lottery on your phone or online right now. All wins are paid same day, in full, and direct to your Momo.
Please dial 030-824-9477
for any assistance. 590 Mobile. And down some